Triple H drops bombshell on Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar's shocking return at SummerSlam 2025. WWE fans are still reeling from SummerSlam 2025, and now Triple H has finally broken his silence on the chaotic return of Brock Lesnar and the emotional fallout surrounding Seth Rollins. What does this mean for the future of WWE? Is the Beast back for revenge? And how is the Visionary holding up? In this explosive backstage video, we break down Triple H's uncensored reaction, the truth about Rollins' medical status, and what Lesnar's surprise comeback means for WrestleMania 41. Under the blinding lights of SummerSlam 2025, history wasn't just made, it was rewritten. When Seth Rollins collapsed in agony during the final moments of what many believed would be his triumphant return match, fans around the world held their breath. The Visionary, the man who fought through shattered ligaments and backstage betrayal, was back in the ring, only for his knees to give way once again, leaving him helpless in the center of the squared circle. But just as the WWE Universe began to process the heartbreak, a storm came barreling in from the shadows. The haunting screech of a theme song that hadn't echoed through the arena in nearly 2 years. A familiar silhouette emerged at the top of the ramp, pacing with rage and ferocity, eyes cold and lifeless like a hunter who had been waiting far too long. Brock Lesnar was back. Now, days after that fateful night, WWE's chief content officer Triple H has broken his silence, and his words carry the weight of a man who's seen everything, but never this. For the first time since the chaos unfolded, the man at the helm of WWE Creative pulled back the curtain and revealed what was really going on behind the scenes. This wasn't just another surprise return. This was a seismic power shift, orchestrated in silence and detonated in public, sending shockwaves through the company's locker room, boardrooms, and broadcast partners alike. "I wasn't ready for that," Triple H admitted in a closed-door media briefing, eyes locked with the cameras. "Not because I didn't see it coming, but because I knew what it meant. When Brock Lesnar comes back, he doesn't come for fun. He comes for blood." But before we delve into Brock's motivations, we need to talk about the man who was left lying in the ring. Seth Rollins, the architect of revolution, the heart of Monday Night Raw. The man who, over the last year, fought to keep WWE's house in order while Roman Reigns disappeared into the shadows and the bloodline disintegrated from within. And yet, even after building alliances, waging wars, and enduring weeks of rehab for his fractured ligaments, Rollins found himself once again broken, this time emotionally as well as physically. As Triple H recounted, the atmosphere backstage after Seth's collapse was described as eerily silent. Several WWE superstars, many of whom once considered Seth an enemy, stood frozen near the gorilla position, unsure of what they had just witnessed. Paul Heyman, watching from a monitor just feet away, turned ghost white. Bayley reportedly broke down in tears. Corey Graves removed his headset mid-broadcast. The moment wasn't scripted. The pain was real. And so was the chaos that followed. Triple H confirmed that Seth Rollins re-aggravated his previously injured knee. While early reports hinted at another complete ligament tear, sources inside WWE Medical now believe it may be a partial re-injury, compounded by stress and overuse. Either way, Rollins has been pulled from all physical activity indefinitely, pending a full orthopedic review scheduled for later this week in Birmingham, Alabama. But while the wrestling world's heart bleeds for the Visionary, Triple H was quick to shift the conversation because something darker is lurking in the wings. Something monstrous. Something with a buzz cut and a past soaked in destruction. Brock Lesnar didn't return out of nostalgia or contractual obligation. According to Triple H, this return was different. Brock reached out 2 weeks before SummerSlam. No warning. No build. Just a message, "I'm ready." That's all he said. And when Brock says he's ready, you listen. The game paused, took a deep breath, and added something few expected to hear. "I didn't invite him back," he confessed. "I didn't greenlight his entrance. That music hit, and I was just as shocked as everyone else." That was Brock sending a message to me, to Seth, and to anyone who thinks the Beast is gone. Behind the scenes, the locker room is in turmoil. Some talent reportedly feel blindsided, claiming they were never informed of Brock's presence in the building. Others, especially younger superstars like Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes, are seeing this as both a threat and an opportunity. If the old guard's coming back, we better be ready to make a statement, one NXT alumnus reportedly whispered backstage, and then there's the quiet murmur rippling through creative meetings because if Brock Lesnar's return wasn't sanctioned, then who gave the go-ahead? Who unlocked the gates and let the beast inside the yard? Theories are swirling. Was it Vince McMahon? An anonymous investor pulling strings? Or, perhaps most chilling of all, was it Lesnar himself, using a clause in his legacy contract to force his way back onto WWE television? According to long-standing reports, Lesnar's contract grants him what's known internally as a legacy override, a clause that allows him to show up unannounced at a major PPV if he deems it necessary for storyline or personal reasons. It's been discussed in hushed tones for years, but SummerSlam 2025 may be the first time we've seen it in play, and if that's true, then Triple H may not have control of WWE's future the way we thought. There's a difference between surprise and sabotage, Triple H stated. I'm not saying Brock did anything wrong, but I am saying this. When you walk into someone's house uninvited and leave destruction behind, you better be ready for what comes next. The cryptic message has sparked speculation across every corner of the wrestling community. Is Triple H preparing to confront Lesnar head-on? Is he building a resistance behind the curtain? And more importantly, will Seth Rollins ever be healthy enough to answer the call himself? Sources close to Rollins claim he's devastated, but determined. While speaking with trainers shortly after the event, he reportedly muttered through clenched teeth, "This isn't the end. Not like this." Becky Lynch, who was seen storming out of the arena with a tear-streaked face, has since gone quiet on social media. Their family, once the cornerstone of WWE's future, now sits on fragile ground, injury, betrayal, and an unhinged Lesnar threatening everything they built. Meanwhile, Paul Heyman remains silent. Too silent. The man who once guided Brock Lesnar's career and now serves as the architect behind multiple factions, including Roman Reigns' fractured bloodline and Solo Sikoa's rogue movement, has said nothing. Not a word in public. Not a whisper backstage. Some believe Heyman knew. Others suspect he orchestrated the entire thing, because let's not forget, SummerSlam wasn't just about Seth Rollins. It wasn't just about Brock Lesnar. It was about control. And if there's one thing Heyman values more than loyalty, it's control. Triple H ended his statement with a chilling warning, delivered not to the press, not to the fans, but to someone watching from the shadows. You think this was a surprise? You think this was chaos? No, this was a warning shot. And I heard it loud and clear. But understand something, if this is war, then we're bringing everything we've got. And I don't care who you are, if you come for the soul of WWE, you better be ready to bleed for it. The war has begun. The lines are being drawn. Seth Rollins may be broken, but the fire hasn't gone out. Brock Lesnar may be back, but his leash is long gone. And Triple H? He's standing in the center of the storm, unflinching, daring anyone to make the next move. As fans across the globe replay the footage, dissect the clues, and argue over what comes next, one truth remains. SummerSlam 2025 wasn't the end of a chapter. It was the start of a war. Triple H's warning wasn't just bluster, it was a shot fired into the heart of the chaos. But the question now hanging over WWE like a dark cloud is, who, if anyone, is truly in control? In the hours following SummerSlam, WWE headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut was anything but quiet. Executives scrambled to coordinate a PR response, legal teams reviewed Lesnar's contract for loopholes, and a hastily called emergency meeting was held among the top creative officials. Everyone, from writers to producers to talent relations, wanted one answer: who let Brock in? According to multiple backstage sources, Brock Lesnar didn't arrive in a black limo or under heavy security. No entourage. No pyrotechnics. He walked in alone. Hoodie pulled low. Credentials already printed. Some claimed he strolled in through the talent entrance at 4:07 p.m., just as rehearsals for the main event began. By the time anyone realized who was in the building, it was too late. Lesnar had found a private corner in the arena and waited. Like a predator choosing the exact moment to pounce, security footage has since been reviewed, raising even more questions. Who handed Lesnar his access credentials? Why didn't anyone notify Triple H the second Lesnar walked in? And more unsettling, why was there a production camera already trained on the entrance ramp just moments before his music hit? Was this truly an unsanctioned return, or had someone planned the perfect betrayal? Speculation continues to swirl around Paul Heyman, whose fingerprints are all over WWE's recent chaos. Some believe Heyman, long considered the evil genius of professional wrestling, brokered a secret deal with Lesnar, positioning him as the ultimate chaos agent to tear down the current structure from within. Others argue Heyman wouldn't risk that much power for a gamble. But given his silence, his expressionless reaction to SummerSlam's events, and his carefully constructed alliances, nothing can be ruled out. Even Roman Reigns has remained eerily quiet. The tribal chief, who has not been seen on WWE programming in months, was reportedly not informed about Lesnar's return. This alone speaks volumes. Roman and Brock's history is long, violent, and complicated. And if Lesnar's return came without his knowledge or approval, it may signal a brewing storm bigger than we realize. Roman, once the centerpiece of WWE's modern era, may find himself dethroned not by a superstar, but by a system that's spiraling out of control. Meanwhile, the WWE universe is beginning to fracture. Online forums, social media platforms, and fan podcasts have erupted in debate. Some fans are hailing Lesnar's return as the adrenaline shot WWE desperately needed. Others are furious, calling it a disrespectful ambush of a beloved superstar still nursing a career-threatening injury. Has WWE once again sacrificed long-term storytelling for shock value? Or is this chaos part of a much bigger narrative arc being written in real time? And through all of this, Seth Rollins remains silent. Medical reports indicate that Rollins is still undergoing testing. Initial scans showed micro-tears in his left knee, near the same region that was surgically repaired earlier this year. Doctors believe he may have returned to the ring too soon, pushed by both internal pressure and personal pride. Friends close to Seth say he's devastated, not only by the injury but by the feeling of betrayal. He believed his comeback would be a celebration. Instead, it became a funeral for his momentum. Becky Lynch, his wife and former women's champion, has gone dark on all platforms. Those who saw her backstage say she was inconsolable, repeatedly asking staff why no one protected Seth. One producer, speaking on condition of anonymity, claimed Becky was heard yelling through tears, "You knew he wasn't cleared. You let him go out there anyway." But according to Triple H, no one forced Seth Rollins to wrestle. He wanted this, the game said somberly. We all told him to wait, to hold off another month. But Seth's not wired that way. He's never backed down from a fight, even if it costs him everything. In fact, new reports have surfaced that Seth Rollins personally insisted on facing an opponent rumored to be announced that night. That opponent? Cody Rhodes. But when Cody was pulled from the card due to a late medical concern, a last-minute reshuffle left Seth alone in the spotlight and vulnerable. Some now speculate that Brock Lesnar stepped in to fill that void, uninvited, unannounced, and unhinged. Theories run wild. Was Cody's removal from the card a convenient excuse to open the gates for Lesnar? Was Seth Rollins used as bait? Or was this simply a perfect storm, one that WWE couldn't stop? Even if they wanted to, Triple H is said to be reviewing all internal security protocols and has promised a reckoning in the days to come. That reckoning may not be limited to Lesnar. Whispers suggest some staff members could face suspension or termination if found to have assisted Lesnar's entrance, whether directly or through negligence. As one senior staffer put it, if someone left the door open for the beast, they might have also let the whole kingdom burn. Behind the scenes, other top superstars are bracing for fallout. Kevin Owens, who has clashed with Lesnar in the past, posted a cryptic message on X. The enemy of my enemy is still a beast. Meanwhile, Drew McIntyre is reportedly furious, believing that his own path to the main event has now been overshadowed by the Lesnar saga. Even Rhea Ripley, who has nothing to do with the feud, voiced frustration during a post-event interview, stating, "This locker room has worked too hard to be turned into a circus again." But perhaps the most chilling development comes not from talent, but from Wall Street. WWE's parent company, TKO Holdings, saw a brief dip in stock value immediately following Lesnar's unannounced return. Some investors expressed concern over creative unpredictability and what it could mean for long-term business planning. In a private call leaked to insider reporters, one executive from Endeavor was heard asking, "If Triple H doesn't even know who's showing up anymore, what does that say about our investment?" It's a sentiment that stings. Because while wrestling thrives on surprise, business thrives on stability. And right now, stability is in short supply, yet amid all the noise, one thing is clear: WrestleMania 41 has just become the most unpredictable event in recent WWE history. The seeds of war have been planted, not just in the ring, but in boardrooms, locker rooms, and relationships. And Triple H, for all his composure and control, now stands at a crossroads. Will he double down and try to outmaneuver Lesnar? Or will he accept the reality that he may have lost control of the very empire he helped build? Sources close to WWE Creative have confirmed emergency rewrites are underway. Entire storylines are being scrapped. New scripts are being drafted under the highest levels of secrecy. Only a handful of trusted names have been given access to the developing WrestleMania direction. And even they admit they're not entirely sure where it's going. It's like trying to drive a car through a hurricane, one anonymous writer confessed. Every time we think we know what's happening, something new blows in and changes everything. And maybe that's the point. Maybe this isn't about stability anymore. Maybe WWE, in this new era, is embracing the chaos. A chaos that began the moment Seth Rollins' knees buckled. A chaos that came to life the second Brock Lesnar stepped into that arena. A chaos now being fueled by silence. From Heyman, from Roman, from Rollins himself. But there's one man who is speaking. Loud and clear, Triple H. And his message is no longer just for Brock Lesnar. It's for everyone. For every superstar wondering if they're safe. For every executive doubting his leadership. For every fan questioning what's real and what's scripted. "If this company burns," he said, "then it burns on my terms. And I promise you this, we will rise from the ashes. Stronger, smarter, and ready to finish what Lesnar started." The question now is, who will survive to see that rebirth? And as the dust settles from SummerSlam 2025, the WWE locker room feels more like a war zone than a home. The truth is, Brock Lesnar didn't just interrupt a match. He ripped open the fabric of WWE's reality. With one return, he exposed how fragile the illusion of order truly is. While Seth Rollins lay broken on the mat and Triple H scrambled to regain control backstage, a deeper truth was made painfully clear. No one, not even the most protected superstars or the most powerful executives, is safe when the beast decides to feed. And yet, amidst the power vacuum, a question begins to haunt the corridors of WWE HQ. Did Brock Lesnar return alone? This isn't just about one man anymore. Lesnar's timing was too perfect. His entrance too cinematic. His assault too focused. What if this wasn't a solo mission? What if someone, or a group, stood behind him, pulling strings from the shadows? Fans have already started speculating about a new alliance forming under the surface. Some point toward Paul Heyman, suggesting the mastermind may have finally grown tired of the Bloodline's internal collapse and is shifting his focus back to the beast he helped unleash over a decade ago. But others believe something even darker may be at play. A hidden faction. A new force. One that doesn't care about titles or legacy, but about taking down the very system WWE built. Triple H addressed this theory, albeit cryptically, in a follow-up interview with Corey Graves on WWE's digital platform. "We've seen it before," he said, eyes hard, voice low. "WWE has always had enemies. Sometimes they're inside our walls. Sometimes they wear suits. Sometimes they smile in your face. And then sometimes, they let the wolves in through the front door. But if someone's trying to burn this house down from the inside, I'll drag them out into the light myself. These weren't just words. They were a declaration of war. Triple H knows better than anyone how dangerous factions can be. He was the founder of DX. He lived through the reign of evolution. He battled the Shield. And now he may be standing at the precipice of a new era, one where the monsters aren't hiding anymore. Backstage, several top stars are growing restless. Finn Balor, currently sidelined with a minor injury, reportedly held a tense conversation with Shawn Michaels at the WWE Performance Center. Rumors suggest Balor was concerned about how creative is shifting too dramatically in Lesnar's favor, worried it might push younger talent further into the background. Austin Theory, already disillusioned after being pulled from several high-profile storylines, was seen storming out of a production meeting after being told plans have changed again. But perhaps the most explosive reaction came from Cody Rhodes to a leaked audio clip, allegedly recorded by a production assistant and now circulating online. A voice believed to be Cody's can be heard saying, "I came back to finish my story," not to be a footnote in Brock's latest Rage Fest. It's unclear if that line was meant for creative or Triple H himself, but the sentiment echoes loud across WWE. The roster is on edge, and Seth Rollins? His silence continues. But fans are beginning to see cracks in that wall. Yesterday, Becky Lynch changed her ex-profile photo to a black screen. No caption. No context. Just black. As if to signify mourning. An hour later, an old clip from 2016 resurfaced, one where Seth Rollins declared, "If I go down swinging. But I promise you, I'll never go quietly." The clip has been viewed over 14 million times in 24 hours. Fans,